All right, guys, trying to keep your spirits up with some videos that might give you a little bit of focus, a little bit of perspective on the situation, because one way or another, there isn't a great deal we're going to be able to do about it. And that is where I wanted to start, really, is the fact that the big problem for many of us, I mean, I know there are people that are not going to be able to relate to this part of the video, but for a lot of us, the big problem is outside of our house. We may not be experiencing the bigger part of the problem, which is the actual disease. And therefore, for us, the focus needs to be on what's going on inside our house. You know, what's going on outside our house is outside of our control. There was nothing we can do about it. So we need to start looking at what's going on in the house. And I think that might sound obvious. You know, I know a lot of this stuff's probably common sense to a lot of you. But then these are things that come up in counselling sessions that have surprisingly had a bit of an epiphany moment to people in the past. And one of them is the fact that usually for a lot of us, the little everyday things are what cause the problems. The big problems, we tend to be able to deal with them because something kicks in us that, you know, we realise it's a big problem and we sort of use whatever we can to tackle that big problem. But when it's little ones that all add up, like small little things that we may consider to be insignificant, they add up to being actually a bigger problem than the big problem is, because we're not even aware they're there, so they're causing trouble here, there and everywhere. So I think with that, it's kind of, that's one of the things that you can get from this crisis, because the crisis is going to show you things that you don't cope very well with. You know, whatever that's going to be, if it's, you know, the fact that you get bored easily, the fact that you shout at your kids a lot, the fact that you and your spouse are just moaning at each other all the time, the fact you've got nothing to do with your time, the fact you've got no interest, the fact that you're literally, you know, going out of your mind with worry, they're all going to be things that show you little things about yourself that maybe could be improved, and you're going to have time on your hands to do that. So one thing I would say is maybe look at reframing the situation. I know in my last video I talked about narrowing the time frame down, which I think is one of the real big things that people can do. But alongside that, rather than look at it as a problem, as this, you know, absolutely insurmountable mountain that we can't get past or whatever, you look at it as a challenge, you look at it as an experience, and you look at it as a way of discovering things about yourself that you never knew before, and a way that possibly you might be able to change them. I think that as I put a status up yesterday about this as well, saying about the degree of pain that you feel is equal to the degree of resistance that you have to the thing that causes pain. And I know in this situation, you know, people are going through a massive change very, very quickly. It's not a gradual process. You know, I mean, some of us struggle with the aging process, you know, but I mean, every day when you look in the mirror, you don't really notice any difference. It's a gradual thing. And then 10 years later, you look at your photo of yourself and you think, fucking hell, I don't look anything like what I used to look like, unless you're very lucky. And I think this is one of them situations where you haven't got time like that. It's just bang, it's done. And the changes are all there. There's a lot of them. You're getting used to living in a kind of different way at the moment. And hopefully it's only a temporary thing. So let's use the temporary thing to try and learn as much as what we can about ourselves. And what I would say about the resistance to the situation is the resistance is going to cause fear. Now, you're already going to be anxious probably. You're already going to be worrying about this probably. You know, unless you're a very calm, introvert person this isn't making a great deal of difference to your life. I think, you know, it really is going to impact you. So resisting the change is going to promote fear. And the reason it's going to promote fear is because you're now going to be afraid that this crisis will grow into another one. Because in your house, you're losing control of what's going on in your house, you're losing control of relationships, you're losing control of yourself, and therefore you're going to feel even more anxious because of that. So it's like the what's it called? The fear, fight or flight response, where, you know, the body gets triggered for action, and it's like, you know, when I've said this before about the saber-toothed tiger thing, but it's like, you know, there's some sort of threat. And it's in long grass and you don't know where it is. You don't even know if it's still there or not, but it could be, and it could jump out on you at any time. So that anxiety is because you're preparing, but you don't know what you're preparing for. So this is why, again, you've got to focus down. You've got to narrow things down. You've got to get right into the little small moments that you're doing throughout the day, and recognizing where you're starting to lose your shit, because you're probably going to. I think that's where you also have to think about what you do with your own frustrations, because it's going to be very easy to push them out onto other people. And that's the last thing that you want to be doing right now. You want to be sucking it up. learning how to cope with the frustration. And that might mean you've got to sit down, write about it, go out in the garden, scream into a pillow, do a voice message to yourself, fucking anything that you can do to try and keep that frustration off the people that you're in the house with. Because obviously then, you're putting your frustrations on them, then they're going to be frustrated and then they're going to take it out on somebody else. And if you've got 3 or 4 or 5 people in your house, then you're in trouble if that's going on. So I know that none of these things are easy to do. I really do. It's not like I'm some sort of fucking expert. I'm going through a little bit of worry myself from time to time and just trying to manage that, trying to stop myself from going too far, because we don't know what's going to be at the end of this. It's very, very difficult, to not have paranoid fantasies about, oh, I'm going to be fucked, I'm not going to get any business back and all that. I suppose, we're all like that. How am I going to manage the children for like however long this is going to be? Because let's face it, 3 weeks is probably not going to be the end of it. So, that's the sort of thing. So that's what I was saying yesterday. There's no point in going down that road, because it's only going to end to you getting stressed out. So it's about challenging. It's about looking at the little things that you're doing and trying to be self-aware. When you get up in the morning, it's about having the attitude that, look, yeah, I'm starting to identify little things that bother me, and it's my responsibility to take care of them. I can't expect everybody else to do what I want so that I'm okay and that I feel all right. Your kids are not going to do as they're told a lot of the time. Your husband or your wife or your mate or whoever your parents, whoever you live with, they're probably not going to want to do what you tell them to do or what you need them to do in order for you to feel okay. So this is about you taking responsibility for your feelings and the way that you deal with your own emotions. And that is going to be a fucking amazing thing if you can learn how to do that. Because imagine where else that's going on in your life and you don't even realise it. So I'm not trying to glorify this situation. It is fucking bad, but nonetheless, we're in it. We're all in it. And I want to try and keep these videos up. I do struggle with them a little bit because I feel like a bit of a, I'm trying to come across like some guru, and I'm not. It's just that I've been doing counselling for a long time and I've helped a fucking lot of people out now. And I feel like it's time for me to maybe put them skills to use and try and put some stuff out there that people might benefit from. And if there's any time to do that, then now is it. So yeah, just I'll try and follow this on with some more specific things you can do to try and improve relationships at home and stuff like that. But I don't think you're going to be able to do that until you learn that this problem starts with you and your reaction to things rather than what other people are doing to you. Now, you may not be in that boat, I don't know. But at the same time, it's a big thing, a big thing that we struggle with. Okay, so I'll leave you with that for today. But stay on the ball. Keep going, keep plugging along. Every time something's going wrong that you don't feel like you can deal with, take yourself away, have a little word with yourself, get yourself back in the game again, and then step back into the room calm. You want to look like you're someone who's got their shit together. You want to look like a role model for the rest of your family, and you want to look like somebody who everybody else can rely on. Because one thing that I always remember, that Jordan Peterson is a guy that I follow quite a lot, and he was talking about when you're at a funeral, do you want to be the person who's on the floor crying, or do you want to be the person who's picking the person up who's on the floor crying and reassuring them? And you get the choice, And I think that's what this situation can do for some of us, Learn about yourself, learn how to deal with your emotions, learn how to care for other people, and learn how to put them before yourself. All right. One last thing, because I put a note about this because I thought I'd probably forget to put this in, is when I'm saying about stop pushing things out onto other people, I think the important thing also to add to that is that you don't want to be putting it on yourself either. Right? No beating yourself up for not getting it right. It's going to take time. You're going to have to fucking be patient with yourself. And this is a daily learning process. It's almost like learning a new language for some of us, because we've never been in this situation before. No one knows what the fuck to do. There's no expert out there that can tell you exactly what you need to do to get through your life. So please don't take this as I'm some, one of these like mindfulness gurus who's trying to tell you how to live your life. It's just, look, man, maybe this will help, because if you crack on like this, it might make your days a little bit better. But stay positive, keep going. You got this, do it.